Alrighty everyone, welcome back. We are just days away from the Mandalorian Season 3 finale, which means also that we're getting very close each month that rolls by to the Ahsoka Tano series written by Dave Filoni. That's really going to set up the next phase of Star Wars on Disney Plus and for Star Wars television in general. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, there's been a lot of things going on simultaneously between George, John, and Dave and all the upcoming Star Wars films and TV shows that are going to be, announced and unveiled at D23 and multiple different earnings calls as well. We're still awaiting 3 more movie announcements that are going to surround the Old Republic era. The ones that are officially announced also right now is the Dave Filoni film, the Rey film, as well as Dawn of the Jedi. Now, moving on to what George Lucas was able to accomplish over at Disney just recently and what Disney CEO Bob Iger recently approved to make happen in multiple projects, I believe, has the opportunity and the pretty much, chance to really revive Star Wars and to really reunite the fan base, which is basically something that needs to be done. Disney realizes that they have to get all the fans that were lost after the sequel trilogy came to a close, after Gina Carano's firing, and the letdown of the Kenobi TV show. However, with that being all put out there and said, what's even all the more exciting about George is that he recently got Bob Iger to do something very huge for the Star Wars franchise and for the entire Star Wars community that they believe is really going to rock the internet. So one thing about this in particular, it does involve 2 projects that's going to do something very special for a total of 3 specific characters. Now, with that being said, with many new Star Wars projects in the works, one of which is set to make fans very emotional that George Lucas will be involved with along with the help of John and Dave. Now, it's described that Lucas is getting ready to direct 2 very big moments for 2 episodes, one of which from Mando, the other of which from Ahsoka focuses on Anakin Skywalker's return in all his glory. However, for Ahsoka Season 2 specifically. Now, it's described that Lucas convinced John and Dave to take things up a notch and to take things up with Disney on greenlighting a couple of scenes to be used starring Hayden's portrayal of Anakin, to have a full-on reunion with his son, Luke, in The Mandalorian Season 4. Scripts are already being rewritten right now for Mando 4, and of course, that's being instructed by Disney upon John and Dave to help extend the show and to add more depth to the story. Storyboards have already been completed for Anakin and Luke's reunion scene in Mando 4, as well as an Ahsoka and Anakin reunion scene that will take place in the World Between Worlds for Ahsoka Season 2, scheduled for 2025. Now, Lucas is set to direct both scenes, however not the entire episode. John and Dave allowed Disney to move ahead with Lucas and his involvement directing those scenes and instructing specifically how they should be done and shot and edited as well together. So let me just stop right here for 1 second. Now, the fact that George is the one that convinced Disney, like, hey, we gotta get this thing rolling, we gotta get Luke and Anakin to have a full reunion scene in live action for the first time since Return of the Jedi, with full dialogue as well. Now, that's very interesting because we never got anything like that, mind you. We did get both Anakin and, of course, Luke glancing at each other from afar on Endor, but we never got to see them communicate, isolated in one spot by themselves. This is going to be something interesting about what they are setting up for Mando Season 4, as well as an Ahsoka and Anakin reunion that's going to take place in Ahsoka Season 2 within the World Between Worlds, which, by the way, is going to be teased and used in a somewhat major way in the first season as well, but it's really going to escalate further in the second one. Now, given that John and Dave are on their A-game, George Lucas is too, by staying involved with John and Dave's work and really kind of just innovating different aspects of the Mandoverse. Now, as you all know, Kathleen Kennedy only has creative power for the most part over, of course, the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. That's about it as of right now. And she really has no say in the matter for Mando Season 4, Ahsoka, and Ahsoka Season 2, and everything else moving forward that's being produced in 2023. The thing about this that I find to be very interesting is that they are giving us 2 reunion scenes that are going to be directed by George Lucas. And George is going to be doing the impossible with these 2 scenes. He's going to make sure that it's going to be top of the line, flawless scenes. It's going to be very emotional for the fandom. Moving on. Those like Rosario Dawson and Hayden have already met up about this planned sequence that will be created by Lucas. This was an original plan by John and Dave. However, Lucas is said to be adding more depth to these big moments in both shows and made a deal with Disney to direct these crucial moments in the franchise that cannot be flawed at all. The one between Luke and Anakin is set to take place inside of his completed Jedi Temple this time around on Ossus, as well as another appearance of Anakin appearing to Luke inside of some cave, serving as a part 2 of their reunion in Mando 4. With rewrites for that season underway in response to Season 3, it's unclear if this season will be delayed or not until 2025. Now guys, we talked about this too, that Mando 4 is still on course for a holiday 2024 release. That could range anywhere from November to December. If they want to make that time slot, they have to begin filming at the latest by, I would say, around the fall of this year, like the end of this year, they would have to begin. Now, given that the script is getting near done, they want to begin, filming by the end of the summer. That's when they plan to start things, but that's what I'm saying. The latest they can do things is 1 whole year in advance if they want to make holiday 2024. So the thing about this too is that we also know that Anakin is going to get a redesign as a Force Ghost. Not drastically, but there is going to be some kind of difference. We're not quite sure exactly what that difference is yet, but George has implied and has specifically instructed a design change for Anakin as a Force Ghost on a minor scale. So it could be anything as simple as maybe longer or shorter hair, or maybe a different outfit, or who knows, maybe he's going to look slightly older for all we know. It's kind of similar to what they did in Luke as a Force Ghost in The Rise of Skywalker, where he's got like really long hair in comparison to how he had it in The Last Jedi. That was a little out of left field, but that's kind of like what they're aiming for, to change the Force Ghost a little bit. So the thing about Anakin and Ahsoka, alright, that reunion is going to be powerful, but I don't think anything is going to touch or become as popular and legendary as a Luke and Anakin reunion scene. Remember, we have never seen Luke speak to Anakin as his spiritual self, as a Force Ghost, to this very day on film. We got to see them look at each other in Return of the Jedi, sure, but we never got to see them talk to each other. That's exactly what John and Dave want to provide, and they want to make sure that it's going to come across as very cinematic, professional, and very movie-like for Mando Season 4. They don't want to make this feel like a fan fiction or a low-budget scene in Mandalorian Season 4. They want to make sure that this is going to feel like it's coming straight out of a movie. And that's the one-up when it comes to Andor, is that it has that movie-like feel. So overall, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.